Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to show you how to structure a landing page that sells multiple products, which is going to be your digital product or content library or online course. It highlights free content, encourages exploration, all while building trust using Nexter. Now, you don't have to use Nexter, but it helps quite a bit. Beyond just the Nexter extension and the theme builder, Nexter comes packed with a bunch of blocks and features that you would otherwise have to download separately as third-party plugins. So with that, let's go ahead and continue and create a brand new blank page to show you guys how to make a course page. Now, a lot of you might think that, okay, this might only be for courses, but this could be for digital products or just trying to sell things in general. But for this case, it's an anatomy video. So 5 different sections. The first one's going to be an author bio. Second one's going to be a product showcase. The third is tiered offerings. The fourth is a content library. And the fifth, well, access to it. And the fifth is going to be your guarantee and FAQs. So this one, we're going to call this okay, we're going to go ahead and hit publish. And with that publish, let's go ahead and click on actions over here and then set this as our home page. Okay, it's going to be your home page. And now we can get started. Now, if you aren't familiar with how WordPress works, we have videos on that. And if you aren't familiar with the Nexter blocks, we have videos in every single Nexter block, so you won't get lost. And come back to this one if you want to know how to lay out your website or your page. So let's get started with a container here, and let's make it a container like this. Okay, and then let's go ahead and add an image over on this side, and this is going to be your um, author bio, and the importance of this is going to be for trust and credibility. So with this one, and then we have a really cool one here, cool block called a counter block. Okay, put it over here, right? Put it right there, or choose this one, and then we can also put in or how should we lay this out here? There's a few different ones to choose from, and we can go ahead and either choose a stylish list or an icon box. But this one, stylish list might be just fine. So let's go ahead and customize this. Let's click on the container here and center everything up. For this whole thing, center everything up. Same with this. Center all of our content. Same with this, and center all of our content. Again, it really depends on what you want. And here, let's go ahead and add in our image. And let's just choose some random one here. This one seems nice, or it might be a bit too small. Let's go with that. Okay, and then I forgot to put it on here, but we should be able to place this underneath, or we can just go ahead and put this on the top here. Let's just use a paragraph and put this here. And then let's put our name here. Oops. And we can center this up. in this area right here. And okay, and then for our padding, we can either pad this to make it lower, or we can justify this to the left if we wanted to, but we'll just keep it on the center right here. And here we have a video on customizing this, but we can change this to, and then the digits, we're going to go ahead, the final number is going to be something absurd like that, and then we can make it jump by this much each time, because this is an absurd number. Okay, and then for over here, we can have we can change list items. And then for this one, let's go ahead and change this to, credibility and trust. So, just some simple credentials here. Or like, okay, so there's our first section, right? Our author or bio section with your name, your credentials, and your face, and it must be your face, so people will trust you. There just has to be a human face to the products that you're selling. And then a counter over here just to showcase your accomplishments and the things that you've done. Now let's move on to our second section, which is going to be the primary product section. So we're going to open up well, let's do a container just to keep things organized. Container, just a single one here like this. And then let's put in a heading, and let's put our course title here. Okay, and that's going to be it, our primary product. Now, if you wanted, you can go ahead and add a hero section here, an image of whatever it is, right? Like a cover or what. But this is just going to be a placeholder. And then after this, we're going to want to put in a button. Oops. Right underneath it. And then we're going to center this up, and we're going to say, enroll now. So right off the bat, if they've already clicked on here, they probably already know who you are. So you might want to shift this down a little bit. But beyond that, we have our primary product showcase over here already, right? And then once they click this, you can link them to your checkout page, and then you can get paid that way. Now, it doesn't need to have your images or anything. You just needs to have your title here, just so everybody knows what you are selling. Probably put a separator here. Probably might want to go ahead and set up the flex property here. And then for style, you might want to put in a some color in here, just so that it stands out a little bit. Okay, and then next, let's go ahead and move on to our third section, which is going to be tiered offerings. So let's go ahead and click on a flex box here, and let's go with this 4-1. Okay, and then bring this up just so we can select it here, and then align these. And then over here in our block inserter, we have a couple different options to choose from. So if we were to type in price, we have both the pricing list And where did I put that? The pricing list and the pricing table. Now, if we close this, you can take a look at how this looks like. And first off, for the pricing list, we have, oh, at least in the Pro version, you have 3 different layouts to choose from, right? Depending on how you want to display your products, right? Your tiers, your levels. And over here, we have, which by the way, has this cool feature. Or you could go ahead and just use this block called the pricing table. And there's a few different styles to choose from, as you can see. But let's go ahead and style 2 and then duplicate it. A few times, put this here. Okay, and then here. Control Shift D here, and then here. Okay, and then you can play with the spacing on here a little bit. And, you know, all of this is going to be within your layout over here, column width, right? And you can set everything up from here. Okay, and the reason why you want to have tiered offerings is to offer things for different budgets. So here we have basic, right? And then we can have this be 19, 29, 39, 99, and then this one we could probably change the price area, or let's say content area, the content or background. Let's change the background options to have a little bit of a different color. Right, so that's the one they choose. And again, you could list down all of your features here. All you do is just go on layout, and then they have title area here, what you want for your title. You can make it a link. You can use it to be dynamic. If you had it in database, you can align it left, right, center. The pricing area, we can change how it looks like. And, you know, we have a previous price here from that, right, just to make it a bit more enticing. Content area, buttons, we can add a button over here like, yeah, take a look at this, you know, take me there. I wanna buy this. I wanna avail of this. And another call to action over here, just to make it a bit more enticing. So there's your third section right there. And for your fourth section, you're gonna wanna put in, it's somewhat of a call to action, but it's more of like a free access to content library. So enough talking about that. Let's drop in another container here, right? And we're gonna put in a heading, and let's go ahead and type this in here. Okay, and we're gonna center that up, and we're gonna add in a button. And we're gonna, and then we can put an icon over here, icon position, and then an arrow, like that. And let's center this. And then in the container itself, we do want to center everything up. And one important thing for this area, beyond offering whatever it is, so in this case, it's a free trial lesson. In other cases, it could be, hey, here's a link to our podcast. If it's a paid podcast, hey, here's a free listen to one episode of our podcast. It could be a link to your blog, like, hey, if you like if you want to see how it looks like, we have our blog over here for low friction. They'll try it if they're not yet sure. They see the prices, but they're not sure what they're getting. So you're going to give them a free taste, a free sample, right? And in fact, speaking of, let's go ahead and highlight this just so that it'd be a bit easier for them to see. But another very key factor here is that for your background, you want it to have a very high contrast color. Whatever that color is, let's go with yellow. It's just so that, kind of like a pop-up, kind of like an icon box, they can see that, hey, there's something here to be looked at. And you can add an image or something, but you want it to be clear. And that's going to be like a clear call to action over there. Okay, so the contrast is, first, the free content, and second is the contrast with the container itself. Those are two important factors in your content library access here in the fourth section. And then on our last but not the least section over here, we're going to want to put in a container, and then just a single one. And let's put in a paragraph. And then this is going to be our guarantee. So if you don't have a guarantee, you should go ahead and make one, because it really helps customer confidence, build trust. There's risk reversals. So if they paid for it, here, let's take a look. So um, okay. And, if this isn't in your company policy, you should probably consider it, because usually if your stuff's good enough and if you were able to convince your leads to turn into customers because you already showed them all of this, right? Then this really shouldn't matter, especially depending on your subscription or depending on your product as well. So if you have to rely on this, if you're going to fall back on this, then you're probably not doing something right with whatever you're selling or however you're presenting it. And then besides this, we do want to put a frequently asked questions area over here. So it'd be kind of funny if we put, let's put a heading down here. Be funny if we put this over here. It's kind of ironic. No questions asked, and then any questions, and then we can put in an accordion, right? So we can put our FAQs right down here. Select this as our layout center. Okay, there we go. Accordion 1, and then for the style, there we go. And then for our title background, let's change the background color to something else. There you go. Okay, and then for each one of these, let's go ahead and just put some placeholder stuff. Question 1. Question 2, right? So frequently asked questions, like answered right here and then. Okay, so those are going to be our 5 areas. Let's go and click on save and take a look at how this looks like on our live site. Okay, here it is, and you can see our counter there is working. We have our bio here. It's like, hey, who am I? This is me. I'm featured on Facebook. I'm top 100 course teachers in the UK, and I have a master's degree in business from wherever. And, I have taught this many students, I've taught this many lectures. You know, I'm somebody that you should listen to. Next, what is it that I'm offering? Right? So, again, it might be a good idea to have a picture of whatever it is. And, hey, if I'm already here from somewhere else, it's a YouTube video, some organic funnel, then yeah, I'll enroll without even asking a question. And then over here, we have our tiered list, which is very important because sometimes you want to entice people with, you want to get everybody maximum amount of customers, right? Depending on your business, from the minimum budget to the maximum budget, but also, you have the potential to upsell. So, you could show the features here, 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 and here. But with this section, you have a visual way of representing what, your bestseller is, or what you want to sell is going to be here, right? So, you might be lacking features in the previous three, but then the best value for money will be, the last one that's a bit more glitz and glamour. And then your next section over here, is your access to your content library, free access. And again, those two important things for this section is going to be it's free, and two, there's going to be a high contrasting background just to grab their attention. Just, low friction, as they say, trial to entice them to, hey, I'll take a peek inside, just like taking a look at the book at a bookstore. And then last but not least, you have your guarantee area and your frequently asked questions, right? So there's risk reversal here. So even if they checked everything out, it's like, hey, it's free to try. I'll go ahead and buy it. And once they already pay you, while it might not be, you have 90 days or whatever it is, most of the time you'll probably be able to keep whatever they pay you. And then frequently asked questions, if you have any, just to make sure that your bases are covered, right? And then if they wanted to contact you anywhere else, you have a footer with your social icons here or navigation if this is part of a larger site. Okay, and as a bonus, if you wanted, you could put social proof if that's something that's important for you. But in general, these 5 sections will probably take you a very long way in order to sell your online course or digital product, whatever it might be. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, as it really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. Show this kind of video to other nerds like us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you want to know where to get the blocks that we used in this video to make forms real simple, real easy, check out the link in the description. It'll take you to the website of Nexter, where you can get the Nexter blocks yourself. Now, if you check out the pricing, they have 3 different levels: starter, professional, and studio. We recommend getting the studio one because it's a one-time payment. It's lifetime. You get all the blocks. You don't have to worry about not having the right blocks to get what you need done. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out one of our other videos, or go ahead and check out our channel and subscribe to see more content like this.